All right, this is section 2.3, composition of functions. The voiceover to the homework. First thing I want to point out to you that this symbol here is a composition. That open circle does not mean times. If it was times, there would even be a symbol in between. So I need to do these on a separate piece of paper here. Number one, f of x defined as x minus 6 over 9. And the g of x function defined as 4x plus 1. He's asking me for number 1 to find g composite f of 42, which translates to g of f of 42. So I'll calculate what f of 42 is. I'll get an output, and then I'll put that into the g function. F of 42. So in place of x here, I'm going to substitute in 42. 42 minus 6 divided by 9. This will be 36 divided by 9, which is nice because that's just 4. So f of 42 is 4. Now let's find g of 4. G of 4, in place of x in the g function, I'm going to substitute in 4. So this is 4 times 4. Plus 1, 16, plus 1 more is 17, and letter A. So we're in good shape. Let me just see something here. Give me a second here as I look through my papers. Okay, number 2. Number 2, the f function is defined as negative 9x minus 9. The g function defined as 3x squared minus 8x minus 1. He's asking me to calculate f composite g of 9, which translates to f of g of 9. So let's calculate what g of 9 is. So there's the g function here. G of 9 is equal to 3 times 9 squared minus 8 times 9 minus 1. So this is 81 times 9 squared is 81 times 3. 243 minus 72 minus 1, or 243 minus 73, and 243 minus 73, 243 minus 73, and that's going to be what? 243 subtract 73, that's 0. Let's see, this is 170. 170. Alright, so this is 170. Let me find f of 170. F of a $1.70 is a minus 9 times 170 minus 9. So this would be a 0.63, a negative 1.5. 30 minus 9 combined. A negative and a negative is a negative 1539. Negative 1539. Letter D. New piece of paper, or I'll switch this around. Number 3. F of x defined as 6x minus 8. And my g function, a little lengthy, negative 2x squared minus 2x minus 8. He wants me to calculate g composite f of 4. So this translates to g of f of 4. I want to calculate what f of 4 is, get that output, input that into the g function. So what's f of 4? F of 4 is, in place of x, I'm going to substitute in 4. Subtract 8, so that's what, 24 minus 8, which is what, 16. So this translates to 16. Now let's find g of 16. g of 16. So this would be a negative 2 times 16 squared minus 2 times 16 minus 8. So this is a minus 2 times, I believe this is 256, 16 squared, 16 times 16. Yep, 256 minus 32 minus 8. So this is going to be a minus 512, minus 40, a minus 512 and a minus 40. That's going to be a minus 552, minus 552, letter D. Number 3, letter D. Okay, number 4. Number 4, f of x is the quotient x minus 1 over 5. G of x, 9x plus 4. He wants me to find G composite f of 31, which translates to G of f of 31. So I'm going to calculate what f of 31 is, get an output, and then put that into the G function. So what is f of 31? In place of x, I'm going to substitute in 31. 31 minus 1 divided by 5. So this is 30 divided by 5, which is 6. So f of 31 is 6. Input 6 into the G function. Alright, G function, G of 6. So in place of x, I'm going to substitute in 6. So 9 times x, x is 6, plus 4. This is 54, plus 4 more, or 58. Nice number, 58. Letter A. Alright, so here on in, we're not asked to find the composite of a value. We're just going to come up with the new composition function. Alright, so the work gets a little grimier, so to speak. Number 5. Number 5, what do we got here? F of x equal to 5x plus 7. And G of x equal to 4x minus 1. He wants me to find f composite G of x, which translates to f of G of x, which is f of the G function is right here, f of 4x minus 1. So wherever I see x in the f function, I'm going to input 4x minus 1. So f of 4x minus 1 would be equal to 5 times, in place of x, I'm substituting in 4x minus 1, and then adding 7 to that. So distributing the 5 times both the terms within the parentheses, this will be not 50. 5 times 4 is 20 times x is 20x. 5 times a minus 1 is a minus 5. Plus 7 more, so we get 20x. Minus 5 combined with a positive 7 is a positive 2. 20x plus 2, letter A. Alright. Number 6. F of x equal to a negative 3x plus 4. G of x equal to 2x plus 5. He wants me to calculate G composite f of x translates to G of f of x, which is G of f of x is minus 3x plus 4. So in the G function, wherever I see x, I'm going to substitute the input minus 3x plus 4. So G of minus 3x plus 4 equals 2 times that. And then add 5. So 2 times a minus 3 is a minus 6 times x is minus 6x. 2 times a positive 4 is a positive 8 plus 5 more. Minus 6x. Minus 6x plus 13. Minus 6x plus 13. Minus 6x plus 13. Letter D. Number 7. I can move this slightly. Number 7, f of x equal to the fraction 4 over x minus 6. G of x is 5 over 8x. He wants me to calculate f composite g of x, which is f of g of x, which is f of the g function is right there, 5 over 8x. So wherever, in the f function, wherever I see x, I got to substitute this fraction. This is going to get slightly messy. So let's see if I can do it over here. I could have made this a little nicer, huh? Could have made this a little nicer. So in place of x, I'm going to substitute in that fraction. So I get 4 over, in place of x, I'm substituting in 5 over 8x and then subtracting 6. So what I need to do is find a common denominator here. The common denominator for 8x and 1 is going to be 8x. So this is going to be 5 over 8x. And then a minus 6 times 8x is a minus 48x. Alright? Minus 6 times x minus 48x. So now I get this complex fraction, so to speak, fraction within a fraction. So I know I need to do this. Division calls for me to multiply by the reciprocal of that. So this becomes 4 over 1 times the reciprocal of this is 8x over 5 minus 48x. 4 times 5, well that's 32 times x is 32x, and then 1 times this is just what you see here. That's kind of a wild one, alright? It's kind of a wild one. 32 over 5 minus 48x, letter C. It works out. Hard part was, finding a common denominator and then realizing that division calls for you to multiply by the reciprocal of that. So even though we're doing composition, you still got to remember, some algebra. Hereby the name of the course, College Algebra. Okay, number 8. Way up top here. Number 8. Let's see. F of x given to me as x minus 7 over 5. G of x defined as 5x plus 7. And what does he want me to calculate? G composite f of x, which translates to g of f of x, which is g of f of x is x minus 7 over 5. So in the g function, wherever I see x, I'm going to make the substitution. So g of x minus 7 over 5 equals 5 times x, which is x minus 7 over 5 plus 7 more. We'll catch a break here because the 5's cancel out, leaving me x minus 7 plus 7, and then the minus and the positive 7 cancels out. That simplifies just to plain old x, which is kind of nice. Kind of nice. Number 9. F of x, defined as a radical. First time we've seen one of these. And g of x is just this binomial, 8x minus 12. What's he want me to do? F composite g of x. F composite g of x, which is f of g of x, which is f of g of x. G of x is 8x minus 12. I can write a better 8 than that. So in the f function, wherever I see x, I'm going to substitute in what the g function is. So I guess I can do it over here to the right. So in place of x in the f function, I'm going to substitute in 8x minus 12. So this, in place of x here, I'm going to substitute 8x minus 12, and then the function says to add 8 to that. So this is going to give me the square root of 8x minus 4. Now, if you look at the answers, you don't see the square root of 8x minus 4. So what's happening here, and here again, it's algebra. What you got to realize is that 8 and 4 have a common factor. So I can rewrite this as 4 times 2x minus 1. Now, since I got a square root of a product, all right, this is a product here, I can write this under separate radicals. Square root of 4 times the square root of the other factor, 2x minus 1. The square root of 4 is a whole number 2 times the square root of 2x minus 1. And that's why it's the letter B. That's something that you had to remember how to simplify. You know, it's like having, the square root of 72, and you write this as the square root of 36 times the square root of 2, simplifying the radicand. All right, so that one there, you had to pull something out from something you knew before. It's algebra, ladies and gentlemen. Number 10. F of x. F of x, this long trinomial. Yeah. If Mr. Gomes could draw parentheses, I'd be in trouble. F of x equal to 4x squared plus 5x plus 6. G of x equal to 5x minus 8. And he wants G composite F of x, which is G of f of x, which is G of f of x. F of x is this trinomial, 4x squared plus 5x plus 6. So now I need to find g of that. So in the g function, wherever I see x, I'm going to make the substitution here. So this is going to be in the g function 5 times x, but there's my input, 4x squared plus 5x plus 6 minus 8. Distributing the 5 times everything inside the parenthesis, this would be 5 4s are 20 times x squared is 20x squared. 5 times 5 is 25 times x is 25x. 5 times 6 is a positive 30. Subtract 8, giving me 20x squared plus 25x. My positive 30 and a minus 8 combined is a positive 22. And it sure looks like what it's saying to me. Yeah, it took some time, but it wasn't all that bad. Number 11, if I'm not mistaken, requires you to use your calculator because you're raising something to the fifth power here. Number 11. Pardon me while I move my papers around. F of x defined as 7 over x, and g of x defined as 8x to the fifth power. He wants me to calculate g composite f of x, which becomes g of f of x, which becomes g of, let's see, the f function is right here, 7 over x, and I really made this really large. Alright, so find g of this. Alright, so what does that mean? In the g function, wherever I see x, I'm going to make the substitution here. Alright, So, what do we got in the g function? This says 8 times what? My x value. There's my x. This is 7 over x. And I got to take this and raise it to the 5th power. Alright. G of this. So, in the g function, wherever I see x, I'm substituting in this. So what do we got? 8 times 7 to the 5th power. Give me a second here while I find out if I can clear this off here. 7 to the 5th power. Clear this off. 7 raised to the 5th power. Alright, so this becomes 16,807. I can say it, I guess. Divided by, let's see, x raised to the 5th power is x to the 5th. Now, what is 8 times all of that? What is 8 times all of that? Well, we get 134,456. All over x to the 5th power. Number 11, letter A. Alright, so you need your calculator, to raise, 7 to the 5th power. You wouldn't want to do that pencil and paper. Just a big number, but it works out. But it works. Yeah, it works. Number 12. F of x defined as 5/4 of x. G of x defined as -4/5 of x. And he wants me to calculate F composite G. Make that big composite symbol. F composite G of x, which translates to F of G of x. What's G of x? So it's f of, in place of this, I'm substituting in a -4/5 x. So in the f function, wherever I see x, I'm substituting in -4/5 of x. So if I can do it here, this becomes 5/4. Alright, 5/4 times x. This is my input here. -4/5 of x. Well, first thing I realized, positive times negative, the product is negative. The 4's cancel out, the 5's cancel out, and a negative times x is just that, -x. Wow, that's pretty nice. So it just kind of fell apart. As they fell apart, just kind of worked out to my advantage. 13. F of x defined as x to the 5th power plus 7. G of x defined as the 5th root. Interesting. We haven't seen this before. The 5th root of x minus 7. And he wants me to calculate F composite G. I made a nice small composite symbol that time. Which means F of defined as F of G of x, or F of G of x is right here. It's the 5th root of x minus 7. So in the f function, wherever I see x, I'm going to substitute in. So can I do it off to the side here? So what would this be? In place of x, I'm substituting the input. So this is the 5th root of x minus 7. But I need to raise that to the 5th power. And then add 7 to that. Add 7 to that. Well, the 5th root of x minus 7 raised to the 5th power, all it's simply going to be is x minus 7. All right, the 5th root of x minus 7 raised to the 5th power. All right, just becomes x minus 7. The 5 sort of cancel out. That exponent and that radical cancel out. It's like, well, that's what it does. And then adding 7 to it, the minus 7 and the positive 7 cancel out, just leaving me plain old x. This guy here is like writing, the 5th root of x minus 7 is like writing x minus 7 to the 1/5 power, but you're taking that and you're raising it to the 5th. 5 times this 5 times 1/5 is 1, or just giving me, this x minus 7, then adding 7, the 7's cancel out, just giving me plain old x. Number 13, plain old x, 13C. It was kind of nice how the exponent and the index here, I can say it, this is the index x, the exponent, these were the same, so these guys cancel out, just leaving me the thing under the radical sign, the radicand. So, all this being said, is we've just seen a lot of different things that we've studied in the past, but they've come up in solving the problem we needed to know some stuff. So it's getting a little heady. All right, last one here. F of x equal, another reason why I'm asking you when you do this is to try this on your own before you watch this. If you're just watching this, you go, oh yeah, I would have known that. Well, maybe not. All right, so hopefully you're taking my advice. You're doing the homework assignment first, trying your best, and then watching these videos. It sure would make sense, I think. And of course, if you still have a question, you can always email me. Sometimes what I'll do is create a YouTube video just for that particular problem. And then, of course, we have our non-mandatory Zoom meetings on Fridays. And I understand people are working, so there is no ultimate best time, optimum time, because of people's work schedules and life schedules. He's asking me to find f composite g of x, which becomes f of g of x, which becomes f of g of x, is right here. It's x minus 1. So where I see x in the f function, I got to substitute that binomial. Alright, this becomes tricky because this becomes, let's see, I'll write this again, f of x minus 1. So it's x minus 1 cubed minus 4 times x minus 1 squared minus 2 times x minus 1 plus 8. Well, we haven't done this we haven't done this at all in this course. X minus 1 cubed. So x minus 1 times itself would be what? X squared minus 2x plus 1. Now that times x minus 1, again, I'm cubing it. Alright, so let me just kind of do it one on top of another here. Minus times minus is a minus. This is a positive 2x. That's a minus x squared. X times 1 is a positive x. X times a minus 2x is a minus 2x squared. X times x squared is x cubed. Minus 1, this is a positive 3x. This is a minus 3x squared. And this is x cubed. Wow, let's make sure this is right. Minus, a positive, a minus, a positive, a minus, and a positive, minus plus 3, minus 3x squared. Okay. So, wow, this is long. This is long. So this is this. So what do we got here? In fact, let's see if I can write this. X cubed minus 3x squared plus 3x minus 1. Now, x minus 1 squared is this guy right here. And I need to multiply that times a minus 4. So this is going to be a minus 4x squared. Let's see, a minus 4 times a minus 2 is a positive 8x. A minus 4 times a positive 1 is a minus 4. And then distributing these two terms, I'll write this underneath here. This is a minus 2x plus 2 plus 8 more. Boy, have I got a lot of terms here. Number 14. Alright, so I got an x cubed. Get that out of the way. Let me see if I can write this a little better. This is x cubed. Alright. I got a minus 3x squared and a minus 4x squared. That's a minus 7x squared. That's gone and that's gone. 3x and 8x. And what do we got? 14. And why am I ending up with 11 and it's supposed to be 9? Minus 9x, let's see. This was a 3x here. That was 3x. Get that right. That guy squared was that, so minus 4 times that, minus 4x squared. A minus 4 times a minus 2 is a positive 8. Minus 2x minus 2 times x, that's a positive 2, and then finally a positive 8. So my answer here is giving me 11x minus 5. So Houston, we have a problem. Alright, so we stop this, and I'm going to do number 14. It's just very long. I'm going to do number 14 on my separate video because there's something crazy going on here and I just can't see it. Too much going on. So I'm going to stop it now and I'll do 14 again.